Today's video is for everyone who works with an office chair. Now, today's video is brought to you by MagicMind. These guys, I really love these guys, and I will talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute. Office chairs are actually a lot of fun. You know, you can do this whole thing, you know. I mean, if you've never done this at the office, have you really worked at an office? But, okay, little dizzy. Getting a little dizzy. All right. So here's the thing about office chairs. And they're wonderful. We need them because you have to sit on something. But we have this desk right in front of us. Normally the desk is approximately this height. You know, they've got some of them you can adjust the height for your height. But oftentimes if you're working for someone else, they say, here's your desk. And it doesn't matter your size, this is the size of the desk. You've got these armrests and they're meant to be comfortable. And if you're leaning back and you're kind of relaxing, yeah, it is kind of comfortable. But notice what happens to my shoulders as I lean forward, right? My shoulders are coming up and it's just because my arm, right? My arm makes that happen. My shoulders are coming up. Now, what gets even worse is the fact that, okay, now I'm going to type. So I'm lengthening my reach, and what happens is that brings up my shoulders so that my elbow can be seated in a way that doesn't inhibit the work that I'm doing. So I'm really getting more and more into the shoulders. Oftentimes we go through the day, whereas like my shoulders, they should be like this, but we start going through the day up here like this. And there are some major issues that can result in this long term. First of all, we're adding a lot of tension to our traps. So the trapezius, these are the areas that we would normally have a lot of stress knots. If you're familiar with stress knots, you get those a lot of times. And oftentimes this is because you're constantly shortening those muscles. But in addition to that, a lot of times you're breathing up here. We do have the capacity to breathe with our chest, and this is totally okay in some circumstances. When you're running, when you're jumping, when you're doing sports, things like that, it's totally fine. However, in everyday life, this is typically not the place where we should be placing our breath. It sends some signals to the nervous system for most of us that says, okay, we are not safe, we're in a dangerous place, and it tends to lead to a stressful life and just stress breathing. If you want to find out more about actual functional breathing, take a look at my course or my book, and I'll teach you how to use your principal breathing muscles. So what we see happening is we're starting to breathe up here at the top of the breath wave at the exclusion of the bottom, which is where natural relaxed breathing tends to happen. What happens when we do this? For most of us, this leads to a chronic state of stress that we don't even notice. We start to have this creep coming up. We start to have what we call upper crust syndrome, which can ultimately cause the shortening of the chest muscles, the front deltoids, even like the lower, this neck area. You start to see the shortening of these muscles that are here, the lengthening of the back muscles. So you start to see this concave back. You start to see almost, it's not necessarily a hunchback, but you start to see it starts to look like that. You start to see that the neck starts to come forward, and research shows that that can actually reduce your overall lung capacity up to 20%. So a lot of this stuff is caused because we're sitting in these office desks and we just kind of fall into this movement. You got to remember your body is always going to try to accommodate the movement that it thinks you need to do. So it's getting really good at hunching over a desk and typing, and it's not able to breathe in the way that it would naturally breathe. So what do we do? More on that in just a second. But first, I want to tell you just a little bit about MagicMind, who is the sponsor of today's video. I want to thank MagicMind for sponsoring today's video. MagicMind is no stranger to this world of working at offices, having deadlines, needing to do deep work for long periods of time. And this world of feeling chronic stress, the one that we're talking about right now, whether it is caused by an angry boss or whether it is caused by a dysfunctional breath pattern or both, oftentimes both, the result can be chronic levels of stress, which can increase our levels of cortisol. MagicMind is offering a discount for my viewers, and if you want to take a look at the link below, you can find out what that discount is and just check out MagicMind, you can buy like a month's worth, or you can get on their subscription plan. That's what I do. I subscribe and I take it every single day. So thank you so much for sponsoring this channel, MagicMind. So how do we do this? Here is the exercise. It's very simple. You take the armrests and you're going to take your forearm, so starting with your elbow all the way up to your wrist, and you're going to support your body, and you're simply going to be pushing down, and that's going to push your torso up. And so you're going to notice it depends on your size relative to the size of the chair, but you're going to notice like my butt is coming up, my shoulders are coming down. If you notice that, okay, this is at the end of the motion, and I'm bringing myself back. So when you do this, you're going to notice that you're flexing your latissimus dorsi and you're relaxing all of those accessory breathing muscles that we are chronically often, flexing as we breathe. You're going to just push down, push down, push down. That's going to bring your shoulder blades back. You're going to also be pushing down with your latissimus dorsi. You're going to feel that, and then you're set, okay? And try to avoid getting into this state with your elbow and you're hunched over, because that's just going to invite those shoulders to come back up. Try to stay back down so that, okay, great, I can still be typing with my shoulders down. I'm not hunched over like this. I'm not hunched over like this. I can still type. You're still going to have to fight that urge to hunch. And especially early on when you try this practice, you're going to notice that, oh, here it comes again. Oh, my shoulders are up in my ears again. Okay, when you notice that, great. Shoulders back, armrests, right? Your forearms on the armrest, and just push up. So you can do this all throughout the day. This is something that there's no number of times that, this magical number of times to do this exercise. Literally just remember that you need to remind your physiology what you want it to do. And so that means checking in regularly and practicing this exercise regularly. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know, how does this exercise work for you? Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to go out there and be kind to one another.